All right, folks, it is the national anthem time here at Lindsay High School for your game of the day featuring the Duncan Lady Demons versus the Lindsay Leopardettes, Class 5A versus 3A on Prep Nation TV. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time, their PNTV game of the day. The Duncan Lady Demons enter this game 27-11 on the season. They are in the state playoffs that begin Thursday for Class 5A pairings. And the Demons are looking to stay sharp, picking up a game that originally would have been El Reno High School versus Lindsay. It is now Demons versus Leopardettes, next on PNTV. I'd like to thank our coverage sponsor for today's live stream video highlights and post-game interviews. 81 RV Repair in Duncan, Oklahoma, and Asher Oil Field Specialty, based out of Lindsay, America. Well, it's going to be an exciting tournament this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Pairings and fields are announced for brackets, so we'll stick with just the two classes that are on the field here today. Your Class 5A state quarterfinals will kickstart at 10 a.m. with the Duncan Demons playing the Guthrie Blue Jays. That'll be your 3-6 matchup. The bottom portion of the bracket, 2-7, is Pryor versus Carl Albert. That game will be at 5 p.m. on Thursday. Top bracket honors go to Piedmont. They'll enter the tournament the overall number one seed. They'll play at noon against Tahlequah. That is your 1-8 matchup. And then the 4-5 slot is Coweta versus Claremore, 2:30 p.m. So those are your Class 5A pairings. Similarly, Lindsay is in the 3A game for the 4-5 slot, and they likewise draw the 10 a.m. start. And that one will feature Lindsay versus Chandler at 10. Winner will meet later Lone Grove or Eufaula in the top part of the bracket. Bottom side, Perry, Silo 3-6. That's at 5 p.m. Washington 8 the 2-7 game at high noon. Those are your Class 3A and 5A pairings. Demons now up to bat. Rips it down the field. And K time for Miss Reese Flood. Wind has picked up considerably. Cold front coming in, so this weekend's games actually are going to be quite chilly compared to what we've been used to in the last, several months. Well, it's a very efficient first inning for Reese Flood. limits any potential opportunities for the Lady Demons. And now it will be Duncan's opportunity with All-Stater McKenna Wilson on the mound to start the game. This battle showcasing two Prep Nation top 10 and four runners for top 5 finalist positions. And here we go. Batter versus pitcher is the unique pitcher versus pitcher combo. And gets the fly out. Wallops this one over the first baseman, unassist tag, 2 down. I would be very surprised just leaving it at that if there's a lot of runs scored initially in the top portions, especially when Flood and Wilson are both on the mounds for the respective teams. It's my understanding that there will be a coach's agreement basically to have them pitch the first 2 full innings. After that, I think you'll start seeing relief pitchers come in. That way, each can stay in the rotation shape, getting some arm repetition, and more importantly, game conditioning in, keeping sharp for Thursday's games. Deep out to center field. That one's going to roll the wall. One hops it, going to turn for two, rounding heading to third. And it is going to be a close play that's safe with the triple. And the Leopards have a base runner in scoring position here, bottom of the first. And K time for Wilson. Score remains 0-0. We'll head at the top of the second inning. It'll be the Leopardettes coming up to bat. It is a pickup game in between Class 3A and 5A state championship playoff games. Those will begin this Thursday at the newly named Devon Park or OG&E Field. Both pitchers bringing their A game here early on, and they are really bringing the heat. All right, ball is fouled away. And gets the ground out. So defense at a premium here early on. Inside corner, high and tight. I love these pitcher versus pitcher matchups. It's very intriguing to me, especially having access to stats. Very fortunate and blessed to have that. Reese not playing around today. Frames it, puts it on the corner. It is a strikeout for the Leopardettes. Led to the bottom of the second inning. Score remains 0-0. You're watching PNTV coverage game of the day. I'd like to thank our feature sponsors for today's coverage, live stream, highlights, and post-game interviews. 81 RV Repair and Asher Oilfield Specialty. Prep Nation has announced today now our top 5 finalists for Fall Baseball Player of the Year. I'd like to congratulate the following players starting in Class 2A. Since it's their inaugural season, we're going to give them the first honors. Your 5 finalists for Pitcher and Player of the Year from Tuska High School, Shooter Boatwright. From Preston High School, Caden Dean. From Dale, Jack Rooker. From Silo, Zane Sander. And from Oaktahaw High School, Dylan Walden. Congratulations to all 5 players. Just a reminder, 2 will be announced as winners for Pitcher and Player of the Year. Leopardettes now up to bat. One of those games to where somebody's probably going to take a loss unless this ends in a tie. However, it will be meaningless in the overall scheme of things because both teams have aspirations higher than a perfect record, both wanting to stay sharp before the state playoffs begin Thursday. Just so happens that each team has drawn the 10 a.m. start, so there'll be the players out there probably wearing long sleeves with their uniforms. I've been told that it's supposed to be the coldest day of the year so far. We will see. I doubt that based upon just winter times, but I think they mean basically since summer. But it will be very interesting to see what the weather is like this weekend. A lot of places I go to, the biggest issue is worrying about your camera shutting off due to the heat or just absolutely passing out from heat exposure. And now it's going to pretty much be cold and chilly, at least for the first game and the first day's action. All the games will be at OG&E, the old Hall of Fame Stadium. Rips that one out to left field. However, she's there, spots it, catches it, and it is 1 down.
Batting number 7, Riley Russell.
Love the girls' drum work skills with the Gatorade can. Nicely done. Another K time for McKenna Wilson.
Number 5, Maddie McGowan.
I'm telling you, folks, some high level, high skill pitchers on the mounds today between Miss Reese Flood and McKenna Wilson. Mark it down. Remember these words. You're going to see both of these girls in college, and you may very well see both of them if they get the opportunity to play at the Women's World Series. They're among the best in the state, and very proud of both of these young ladies being our top 10 semifinalists for Pitcher and Player of the Year. We will let the ladies get through their tournament this week, and then we will give them the honors through the weekend and next week on announcing the 5 finalists. And third strike. All right, so maintaining the awards, shifting over to Class A for the fall baseball Pitcher and Player of the Year 5 finalists. Congratulations to the state champions from Wright City. They get 2 spots for Rainer Bean and Case Lindley. Former head coach here at Lindsay High School, Kyle Butler, congratulations. They net their second state title in school history for the Jacks. Finalists also for Player and Pitcher of the Year from Rattan High School, Cooper Johnson. From Sterling High School, Riley Lyle. And from Worcester, Darton Meeks. Congratulations to the 5 following players. 2 winners will be announced for Pitcher and Player of the Year. Shifting over to Class B for fall baseball, your 5 finalists from Calumet High School, Kingston Arnold and Caleb Teeson. From Fort Cobb, Broxton, the 7-time reigning defending state champs, Blaine Bellamy and Eli Willits. And from Hammond High School, Mr. Trip Higgins. Congratulations to all 5 players. And again, 2 winners will be announced for Pitcher and Player of the Year.
Number 12, Wagner.
All right, puts the ball in place to the shortstop. Catches it, fires over. She may be, nope, she gets her. Looked like it was going to be razor thin on that. She might have actually beat her out. But they do give her the ground out, and it is now 1 down. All right, so initially I was informed that starters would do 2. I think they're going to go farther down. Initially, this was going to be Lindsay versus El Reno. El Reno scratches, season comes to a conclusion, not wanting to play after the games for pretty much regionals are over, which is understandable. Duncan wants to pick up the game, stay sharp. They book it last minute, actually, technically Sunday. And then beyond that, both teams in play and action this Thursday at the state quarterfinals. And then they will basically both be in the 10 o'clock slot. It'll be Duncan versus Guthrie and Lindsay versus Chandler in a absolute just hate to see one team go home kind of matchup. Features 2 of the 3 best players in Class 3A, and Kennedy Allen from Chandler, Reese Flood from Lindsay, and then obviously Briley Spence from Lone Grove being the other pitcher that are, in my estimation, the pitchers of the year candidates to beat. However, we will give everybody equal footing, equal billing, equal opportunity to earn their spots among the 5 finalists that will be announced this weekend and early next week. And it is another strikeout. Both pitchers on point, bringing the heat and delivering the smoke. I'd like to thank 81 RV Repair and Asher Oilfield Specialty for making today's live stream video highlights and post-game coverage available. We may be looking at a pitching change here, and we are. Addie Dodson will be on the mound. So the agreement originally was 5-inning game. I think they are going to let them go 7. So it looks like each pitcher will do basically about 2.2 or 3 innings. And we'll see if it holds true for McKenna Wilson in the top of the 4th if she trots out on the mound. However, I would expect to see at least 3 pitchers for each squad if we do go the full 7 inning game. All right, we are now cooking here with Dodson on the mound. Likewise, one of our top 10 semifinalists for Pitcher and Player of the Year happens to be one of many multi positional pitchers who play when she's not pitching and still at the plate batting, putting up huge numbers. And an opportunity for Lindsay to perhaps get bragging rights should they advance deep into the playoffs. They will have opportunities for potentially 2 players in the final 5. Right now, they have bragging rights with 2 of the top 10. And K time. Dodson flames them, and we will head now to the bottom of the 3rd inning. It'll be the Leopardettes coming up to bat. Demons and Leopardettes 0-0 tie. This will be our final softball game of the year that'll be broadcast starting Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. The NFHS network will broadcast all games, so we will only be able to do tournament graphics, interviews at state, and potentially highlights for the game coverage. If you're interested in Prep Nation covering your team, you still have time. Please get your information into me ASAP. It is $50 for the graphic. The $100 package includes interviews, and $150 rolls out full coverage for the weekend, highlights for games, interviews, and graphic for your team to recap and commemorate your special season. Reach out to Greg Goodrich, 405-492-8825, or you can email prepnationtv@gmail.com. Bottom of the 3rd, 0-0 score. A pitching duel, exactly what I figured, thought, predicted, and assumed would happen. Absolutely no surprises. Both pitchers look absolutely lights out good, and much respect to McKenna Wilson and Reese Flood. Different pitching styles, different pitching success, but ends up being the same exact result. These girls are absolute young guns and make me very proud and excited for future girls to be able to look up to these young ladies, admire them, respect them, emulate them, and learn from them. Pops it out for the single to center. Closer to left field, but nonetheless close. Center to left.
Now batting number 9, Baron.
called out at second.
Flood.
Fires over to second, going to be in safe. Stolen base Leopards, so they could have potentially advanced runners to second and third on that particular play. However, the tag out preceding it took it off the board for them, so to speak. And another strikeout. And as we expected, pitchers each going just about 2+ innings. I think Flood went 2.2. McKenna Wilson will go 2.0 on the day, and they are done. And the stolen base in safe at third. Lindsay now threatening to get on the board first. A 0-0 tie, but back-to-back stolen bases for the Leopardettes after the toss out at second on a very close play. There are now 2 outs and 2 balls on the pitch count. 0-0 is your score. RBI to the wall. Lindsay takes the 1-0 lead.
Now batting number 14, Lily Duncan.
puts it in play to the shortstop over to second. Gets the fielder's choice, and it is officially a 5-6 fielder's tag. Your score through three: Lindsay 1, Duncan 0. Led at the top of the fourth inning, it'll be the Lady Demons coming up to bat. You're watching PNTV coverage. Game of the day: Duncan versus Lindsay.
Now batting number 0, Reed.
And they record the perfectly executed bunt. Throws it in for the single.
Number 3.
One hops it, just misses it. So back to back infield singles. This one's going to be a dirt storm over at third base. I'm going to go ahead and hold it and see. She advances safe to second. Infield single, toss out at first, ends up being in reverse. So it's a 1-5 fielder's choice tag at third base. Base path is not granted, so she loses the previous infield bunt. Fouls it off. And foul again. Solid hit up the middle. All the way to center field. Fires it into home plate. And saves second for the Demons with the double. Runner down scoring position at third as well. Top of the fourth inning. Score remains 1-0. Lindsay. One hops off the shortstop. We have a tie ball game. Duncan holds him up. Probably a good call. And now base runners second and third. Again, tie ball game 1-1.
They're fine. Okay.
Just goes fouls. We'll have a 1-2 pitch count with one down, tie ball game. Demons back-to-back opportunities for scoring runners to come across the plate. As expected, business picked up after original starters taken off the bump. All right, money pitch, full count on its way. Dotson delivers, ripped down third base line. That's going to score at least two, possibly three. And it's going to be a 3-1 lead for the Duncan Demons. Stand up to RBI double, Duncan High School. Perfectly spotted down third base. Not much she could do with it once she didn't knock it down at the base path. Rolled really deep, rolls all the way out to the right, or the correction, left field wall. Ricochets off to the right of the base defender and does the same exact thing to the left fielder as she's chasing it, rolling to her right. It just kind of bamboozles her, gets in the corner, ricochets off. And lucky that Duncan wasn't able to turn that one into a stand-up triple. So a good pickup game for both teams. And here we go, opposite side. One hops to the pitcher, fires over to first. Gets her on the 1-3 ground out. The base runner will advance to third, though, for Duncan. So Wilson does her job after her job is completed on the mound. She pitched 2 full innings, no runs, and no hits given up. Does the dirty work to get the base runner on the path, just didn't quite get enough juice on it to bring her home. And now 2 down for Lindsay here in the top of the 4th inning. All right, Lindsay does record the out. We'll head to the bottom of the 4th. It'll be the Leopardettes coming up to bat. You're watching Prep Nation TV coverage. Game of the day, Lindsay versus Duncan. It is Class 5A versus 3A. Both teams will be in action at the Hall of Fame Stadium. I refuse to always call it OG&E Field or Devon Park. I'll use the new parlance, but I will still get my digs in. It is Hall of Fame Stadium. Duncan will be playing Guthrie 10 a.m. Thursday morning, and it'll be Lindsay versus Chandler, likewise at 10 a.m. We'll call it the early bird special.
Now batting for Lindsay, number 44, Duncan.
I'd like to once again thank 81 RV Repair and Asher Oil Field Specialty, making today's live stream, video highlights, and game coverage available. As I alluded to earlier, this will be our final softball game of the year that we'll broadcast, unless something happens and we pick up some club ball. We will be heading in on the fast track next week for football after this weekend's games are concluded. Not sure if we're going to flex the Weatherford Elgin game or Marlow Washington for football, but I do have many of the players on our watch list for the Football Player of the Year, notably Nate Roberts from Washington, CJ Nixon from Weatherford, and we've got 8 other players that we're going to have to try to cram in ASAP before it's basketball. And then I'm literally chasing them all over the state for that as well. Lindsay gets the walk, and the base runner now on first. Deep shot that looked to be very doable, and just ends up being a real problem ball for Duncan there. Normally that goes out in the outfield, and it just took a hit the ground crash kind of style of trajectory. Good job trapping it, but I don't think she expected to actually get the ball to stop and stay in front of her. So momentarily, kind of the battle is reaching over to grab it or get a hold of it. I mean, that was a hard hit ball, just to end up being basically an infield single. But with the extra base, turns into effective a double. Swing and a miss. Fouls it off, though, so she'll get another crack at it. 2-1 now, back-to-back top-bottom innings for Duncan and Lindsay. Duncan had them on second and third, back-to-back plays, ended up leading to 3 runs scored. Lindsay trying to replicate that here now in the bottom of the fourth. Ball is put in place, not deep enough to really go much. Could have been a potential problem ball there. Ends up being an infield single. Bases loaded now for Lindsay. Here we go, folks. 1 run scores. 3-2 ball game. RBI single bases remain loaded for Lindsay.
Number three, Lindsay Wilmot.
2-2 on the pitch count. Just goes foul. The guys in the back are just a little bit excited.
Number 9, Drew.
Fires over, run will count. Tie ball game 3-3. All right, so they take the base path away from the stolen base at second. Safe at first on the hot shot. So
Number 6,
Duncan, unable to turn two, ends
Flood.
up being a fielder's choice. Flood now up with runners on the corners, and more importantly, a tie ball game 3-3. Wraps it over to shortstop, E6. Lindsay takes the lead, 4-3.
Number two, Duncan.
Fires it over, goes foul. And Duncan does record the out. Your score through four. Lindsay 4, Duncan 3. Demons coming up to bat, top of the fifth. All right, originally this was going to be El Reno versus Lindsay. El Reno's season comes to an end in regional play. As a result, they elect not to go through and play post, I guess, season end, pick up one final game. Seen a couple of teams actually do it where they were eliminated from regionals and super regionals and they wanted one final crack at maybe getting a win or just another opportunity to play perhaps in front of their home crowd, which I totally get and understand. And so Duncan steps in after El Reno stepped out. Originally, this was going to be a 5 inning game, and we were going to have kind of a 2-2-1 format with first, second, third string pitchers going in. It's kind of tweaked on the fly, so we're now in the 5th inning. And if it goes to the seventh, it goes to the seventh. That was the last word that I heard, is that they had agreed just to go ahead and play it, but it could still be 5. So just giving you a heads up at home, please do not inundate the feed with complaints about why we've stopped broadcasting or why we've stopped covering the game. They may very well just end it since it is a non-playoff pickup game. One final time, Lindsay will play Chandler 10 a.m. Thursday, and it'll be Duncan versus Guthrie. If you're interested, Duncan draws the 3-6 seed matchup, and Lindsay has the 4-5 spot with Chandler. Gets the ground out and records out number one. Beats it out. Oh, gets her. That one looked razor thin. Looked like to me she had maybe got the foot down before the throw was in the glove. And Lindsay records the out. We'll head to the bottom of the fifth. Score remains Lindsay 4, Duncan 3. You're watching PNTV coverage, game of the day. Final of the fast pitch season.
Now, number 12, Brooklyn Brown. Riley Wood.
Out to right field, 2-1 for the Leopards.
Number 8, Ryan Boatwright.
Inside corner to the plate, 2-2 on the pitch count. Leopards have a narrow lead over the Lady Demons right here, 4-3. And the swing and a miss, strike.
Number 13, Halle Harris.
Going to go ahead and switch our encoder panel. I think it's a little bit late, but it'll match at least the scoreboard style of Lindsay first, even though they are the home team and will bat at final inning, regardless if it's through 5 here. I would assume that they're going to play now the 7 because this one otherwise could have potentially been over with the lead. However, they may have agreed to play the full 5. That was initially the agreement. I did hear from one of the parents that they had adjusted that and just decided to go full 7, but we will see. But can't handle it. Bases loaded. Second time in the game that the Leopards have loaded them up with a potential sac bunt that has led to a bunt single. And in each instance, it was followed by a infield error that allowed the Leopards to really put some stress and pressure on this Demon squad. So we'll see if Lindsay can replicate the magic and get another run to plate here. Fouls it off, ricochets over to the dugout. Fouls it off again, stays alive. 2-2 on the pitch count. One down. Loaded and juiced bases for the Leopardettes. Opportunity for Lindsay to extend their lead. They jumped out on top, lost the lead 3-1 Demons, and then have scored 3 unanswered runs. 4-3 lead takes you to the bottom of the 5th. This is a pickup game. Neither team really has to do it, but wants to play, keep sharp, stay in rhythm. Right out to right field with the RBI. 5-3 lead, Leopardettes.
Number 19, Duncan.
Fouls it off, stays alive on the pitch count. Now a 2-run lead for Lindsay, 5-3. Ball hits the catcher's forearm, so checking her first and foremost, head coach Jimmy Miller for Duncan in his second full season as head coach for the softball program. Duncan aspirations for winning a state title. It's been a year removed from the Demons' state runner-up. Prior to that, their first ever school title in school history in baseball. Softball team wanting to try to replicate the magic, and they'll go about as far as Miss McKenna Wilson will take them. An absolutely fantastic pitcher for Duncan, and not to be outshined, Miss Reese Flood from Lindsay and Addison Dodson, both top 10 semifinalists for Class 3A pitcher and player of the year. Ball gets away, Leopards wheel still, and it is now a doubled up lead, 6-3 Leopardettes. Bases remain loaded, so each time Lindsay has had them loaded, they've been able to score multiple runs. Continued the trend here in the 5th after doing so in the 4th, and now it is a 6-3 lead for Lindsay. Swing and a miss. I think she totally miscalculated the style of pitch because she was way off on the swing. Multiple pitchers being used here today for both squads. That one hits the batter, loads them up for a third consecutive opportunity for the Leopardettes. And now it is a huge bottom 5th. I've got a 7-3 lead now. Scoreboard still has 6-3.
17,
wrap it. Oh, gets her at first. So the double play. So nicely done by the Lady Demons. All right, that is your score through 5. We'll see if they play any additional innings here. As I said earlier, this was originally going to be El Reno Lindsay. Then it was going to be a 5 inning game between Lindsay Duncan. And I think the coaches have agreed to play 7. And that appears to be the case here. Do see both coaches out on the field, so I'm just going to double check and hedge my bets here. We may have a just coach. No, he's heading to first, so we will head to the top of the 6th coming up. Sometimes you just read too much in between what's going on. So I was hoping it would be a 7 inning game. Just thrilled to be able to pick up one final game before we head into the state coverage. We won't be able to broadcast any of the games Thursday, Friday, or Saturday.
Now pitching for Lindsay, number 5, McGowan.
All right, McGowan in the 3 spot for the Leopards. So it ends up being Reese Flood going, giving him a hard time there. So McGowan will be on the mound. It ends up being Reese Flood, 2.2 innings pitched. And if my math is correct, we have no outs here starting the top of the 6th. So you can pretty much do 2-2 for Flood, 2-1 for Dodson. And then that will give young lady here an opportunity potentially to pitch a full 2.0 as well. And that's about how you have to do it. And one out. 1-2 pitch count will resume for the Demons. One down here, top of the sixth inning. Duncan now down to their final 5 outs. Fouls it off, stays alive, 2-2 on the pitch count. So today we announced the Class 2A, A, and B fall finalists for Baseball Pitcher and Player of the Year. Again, that's for fall baseball only. Tomorrow will be the day that we announce Classes 2A, A, and B for softball. We were going to stagger them out for 3 days in a row, but I decided it might be easier just to go ahead and do the announcements tomorrow, finish up graphics on Wednesday for coverage, and then let the chips fall where they may for Thursday, Friday, Saturday games, or we can devote it to the teams that are in action 3A through 6A. I may still go back to the original format, but otherwise we'll go ahead and post them all three tomorrow for BA and 2A top 5 finalists for softball. Only reason why we may not do it is if I cannot get in touch with some ladies that I'm trying to reach out and let know in advance that they're about to have their name called. Duncan gets the walk, base runner on. Just off the mark. Demons will need to get multiple runs here if they want to get back in the game. They once were up 3-1. 6 straight plated for Lindsay. However, Duncan does have runners now first and second. I think the last time that they were able to pull that off was in the 4th inning, which ironically led to Lindsay's rally themselves in back-to-back 4th and 5th innings, scoring multiple runs. Swing and a miss, K-time. Fouls it off, stays alive. Swinging of his K-time. All right, Demon Strand 2. We'll head to the bottom of the sixth inning. Lindsay will be back up to the plate once again. You're watching our Prep Nation TV game of the day. Lindsay versus Duncan. Does not matter where I sit at any ballpark in the state of Oklahoma, there will be somebody that will choose to sit right behind me and talk incessantly the entire broadcast. Never fails. Four three ground out, one down. And another ground out, two down. In for the strike. Ball put in play to the pitcher, fires over to first, gets her on the ground out, and it is a 3 up, 3 down, bottom six for the Leopardettes. We'll head to the top of the seventh. Duncan will be up to bat. It is Lindsay 7, Duncan 3, your Prep Nation TV game of the day. All right, folks, we will have the top seventh. Demons will need 4 runs, otherwise, Leopards will have this game and get the bragging rights for the pickup game between Class 5A and 3A state quarterfinalists. Their games will be this Thursday at OG&E Field or the new Devon Park. I myself still want to call it Hall of Fame Stadium, and that worked for years and probably should have continued to work. It is going to be an absolutely stellar weekend for softball play. I apologize for the background noise. The game action are all released for brackets now, and there is posted for every matchup for classes 3A through 6A on our Prep Nation page. All you have to do is just scroll down and go through the list, and it will show you all of the matchups and pairings. Deep shot out. It ricochets along the fence. She's going to round over to second, and the Demons have a base runner on. Over to the shortstop, throws, drops the ball, otherwise would have been out. And runners now on the corners. First baseman just couldn't snag it out of the dirt, leaves it on the ground, and the Demons now have 2-1. It is definitely getting cooler tonight. Safe at home, heading to second. Demons score, 7-4 ball game. To the shortstop. Once again, Wild on the throw, back-to-back errors, and it's going to prove costly for the Leopardettes. Another run scores, and now it is 7-6. They only have one extra run to spare. So the first baseman couldn't catch the first ground out when it was thrown, and then the shortstop, third baseman, kind of do a little crisscross and fires over high on the throw, Wild on the E6. All right, Demons drop the sack hit for the sole purpose of getting this potential game tying run at third. However, it does take an out. So far, they've been out a couple of ground outs that could have easily been outs to end the inning with that play. So Demons now one run away and one base path away from tying the ball game. In for the strike. 1-2 is the pitch count. Fly out, two down. Demons now down to their final out. They have definitely made it interesting here in the top of the seventh. It was initially a 1-0 lead for Lindsay. Duncan rattled off three consecutive runs, took a 3-1 lead. Leopardettes respond and jump back on top 7-3. And then the pendulum again swings in the Demons' favor here in the top of the seventh. They've plated 3 runs, and now it's a 7-6 ball game. Again, high for the ball. Swing and a miss. 2-1 on the pitch count. I'd like to once again thank 81 RV Repair and Asher Oil Field Specialty. Today's sponsors for our coverage. Here we go. Game tied 7-7. Well, costly inning for the Leopardettes. They've given up 4 runs. Now we may very well go more than 7 innings, but we'll see if Lindsay can Win in style by walk-off in the bottom of the seventh. However, they will have to get a stop here in the top of the seventh. Base path now clear for the pitcher, and she'll put her back on. This one's going to go foul. And they get the strikeout. All right, folks, we will head to the bottom of the seventh. Leopards have lost a 4-run lead. Game has now gone final, so that'll do it. They're going to settle it up and just call it even Steven. Thank you for tuning in today. Thank you for watching Prep Nation TV coverage. Lindsay versus Duncan ends up 7-7. Congratulations to both the Lady Demons and the Leopardettes on making state, and all the best wishes as they head to Oklahoma City this Thursday. Thank you for tuning in. PNTV signing off.